Global warming gases rising rapidly. Atmospheric carbon dioxide, the primary driver of global climate change, has increased by 0.6% or 19 billion tons. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration has said in a statement announcing the findings. Additionally, methane rose by 27 million tons after nearly a decade with little or no increase. And despite international levels to curb their growth, global emissions of two key greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide and methane, rose sharply last year, and fears are that melting permafrost now might be partly responsible, federal scientists have reported. Attributed primarily to the burning of fossil fuels, carbon dioxide concentration in the air increased by 2.4 parts per million last year. NOAA's Earth System Research Laboratory has reported. That means 2.4 molecules of carbon dioxide were added to every million molecules of air. And since 2000, annual increases of 2 parts per million or more have been common, compared with 1.5 parts per million per year in the 1980s and less than 1 parts per million per year during the 1960s, according to the lab, which tracks emissions from at least 60 stations around the world. Parts per million might not sound like much, but in a very balanced ecosystem like the planet Earth, the atmosphere, it can be a lot. That's quite a change, because any little increases either way, it's a very balanced system. And the planet Earth is similar, has similarities to the living creature. It's like the antibodies when they try to fight an infection in a creature or a virus or something. Yes, the planet Earth is alive. And if you keep increasing the contagion or the contaminant in a creature or the planet Earth, it's only going to get worse, because the planet Earth can only balance itself so much. It's a very balanced system. It's trying, but the Earth is very sick, yes. Global concentration of carbon dioxide is now nearly 385 parts per million. Pre-industrial carbon dioxide levels were around 280 parts per million until 1850. About the time of they got the trains going. Coal-powered trains. Fossil fuels. Human activities pushed those levels up to 380 parts per million by early 2006. And now concern is growing, especially in recent years, about these gases, with most atmospheric scientists convinced that the increasing accumulation is causing the Earth's temperature to rise, potentially disrupting climate, which it already is, in the process, and changing patterns of rainfall, drought, and other storms, or making more severe storms. Watch the permafrost. As for methane, vast amounts are stored in permafrost or permanently frozen ground. If that starts to melt, well, that's going to make global warming, climate change a whole lot worse. We can't probably even imagine. It'll throw all the computer models off. Methane is 25 times more potent as a greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide. So you can just imagine what happens if the methane starts getting into the atmosphere. But there's less of it in the atmosphere so far. When related climate effects are taken into account, methane's overall climate impact is nearly half that of carbon dioxide. Scientists are becoming concerned, almost to the point of being frightened, but as the Arctic continues to warm and permafrost thaws, methane could seep into the atmosphere, possibly fueling a new cycle of rising temperatures and even more emissions released than ever before. Just up until last year, global methane levels had been stagnant since 1998, but they now appear to be on the rise. A NOAA scientist said industrialization in Asia and China and rising wetland emissions in the Arctic and the tropics are the most likely causes of the methane increase. Yes, if the permafrost starts to melt or thaw out, it'll just increase the global warming climate change a whole lot faster. We're on the lookout for the first signs of methane release from thawing Arctic permafrost, he added. That would be the key. Anyway, global warming, climate change, it's accelerating every day. Spiraling out of control. With the world, humankind putting ever more contaminants into the atmosphere, making the Earth, planet Earth, ever more sick. Anyway, these are more signs, end times, last days, whatever have you call it. God, tens of thousands of the heavenly host and Jesus Christ, they will be returning soon. They have to help save us from our own selves. Put the planet Earth back into balance, equilibrium. These are more signs.